The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Banking and Ancillary Institutions, Honorable Eze Nwachukwu, has urged the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, to do more and be aggressive in the recovery of about 5 trillion naira outstanding debts over the corporation, owed to the corporation. Eze also asked the committee's campaign for all agencies of the federal government to join AMCON's debt recovery. All right, I'll pause there because it's a huge sum of money. 5 trillion naira. Dr. Amonia, sir, 5 trillion naira is being owed to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria. That's a lot of money. How could the management of AMCON allow the debt profile owed to her to reach to that extent, and they are being paid salaries? Is it possible that AMCON is up and doing? Analyze for us, please, sir.
Well, I want to say, again, it's rather unfortunate. And it's a shame to that body that you could accrue debt to that magnitude when Nigerians are actually suffering. If it's a situation where Nigerians are comfortable and things are up and running, you might say it's an oversight. But this is not the case. The essence such bodies were there is to ensure that finances are not stopped. And if they are there seated, I would want to say that the entire leadership there be reviewed. I would want to say that, that it should be reviewed. Because as a managerial scientist, I know that it's our job to run analysis on situations and then provide solution. Because I don't think there is any reason with the protests, anger, bitterness, poverty, suffering here and there, we should be thinking of that. While we're looking at that, there is also the aspect where our debts is being serviced. If the country is servicing our debts, what is happening to the organization to regulate that of the nation? Again, I would want to say that just like the situation where you'll be hearing of corruption, the system could do better by reorganizing a program. So before money or cash or transactions are being carted away to a certain magnitude, it would have been trapped before it gets to that stage. I think the system is free, too open. And that's why everybody or people might want to go in and do their biddings. It should be structured in a manner where it will be very difficult for one to take as much as 5 naira out of the system. If before you take from your cobbles to 5 naira, you should be apprehended, at least attention be drawn. It doesn't need to get to the point where it has gotten to millions, billions, and trillions before you begin to try to resolve it. Another thing that should be looked at is, I believe that there might be a lot of situations. If these persons are actually receiving salaries, it means they are being paid for doing nothing. Because if you're being paid, you should be able to show at least for what you're being paid for. So I don't think it is by any means something to be compromised or considered that such magnitude of finances is being... That means anybody can say one or two things and it will just be as if it's a debt. Some debts are bad debts. They would never be recovered. We just hope that this will not be one of such.
Okay, sir. Mr. Kingsley, sir, we are seeing a situation where there are we are beginning to see agencies, ministries, and departments that are becoming unauditable. Like in the case of the NNPCL, and now we are seeing AMCON.
Well, I think that the first question we should be asking really is, first and foremost, if we are talking about 5 trillion naira, this 5 trillion naira, who are the people owing this money? What did they use the money for? And I can bet you that if you look well, you will discover that majority of those who are calling for the probing or who are calling that AMCON should do more to recover these monies are the lawmakers, the political class in this country. If you go, all of us do banking. If you do salary overdraft from your bank, for instance, when your next salary is coming into that account, it will not even land, and they will cut it out. That is to show you that the banks are monitoring every bank account in this country. So how come as much as 5 trillion naira pass through bank accounts to the point that the lawmaker have now to make a case for AMCON to be able to get those money back? It's just simply a situation where people use national resources to do friendship. You work in the bank, just because you put a few millions of naira in the bank, you can just go to the bank and urge the bank to give a loan to someone you know that will not be able to pay. People go to bank and collect loan and go and marry wives. People go to bank and collect loan and go and do all sorts of things that are not. People go to the bank and borrow money to just go and do better, do wedding, do all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, when the bank decide to roar, when AMCON decide to go after those who are owing these debts, you will still see someone who will tell you to come back from where you're going to, because the person that is owing the money, if you charge him, if you seal off his premises, it will be termed witch hunting. And so the AMCON will just go back to his shell and be watching and praying that one day God will touch the heart of the politicians to be able to do things right. I think that the reason why 5 trillion naira of our money is in hands and we're now looking for a legislative approach to be able to bring those money back is because we have a system that is not working. We have a database that is not accurate. If you have a database that is accurate, even if you have 2,000 bank accounts, so long as you are owing in one, it will reflect in the other ones. And everybody will know, those in the banking system will know, okay, this is where Kingsley is today. He's moving from here to Calabar. From Calabar, he's going towards Cameroon. And everything will just be followed seamlessly there. And by the time you know what's going on, the money is recovered. I can bet you that this money that we're talking about were not borrowed for people-oriented programs. These monies were borrowed for political campaigns. They were borrowed for political witch hunting and what have you. They were borrowed for self-aggrandizement and co. If these monies were borrowed and they were invested truly in the agricultural sector, educational sector, health sector, aviation, and what have you, I can bet you that there will be a difference. It will reflect in the life, because we're talking about something more than half of the nation's budget. That's what we're talking about. Close to half of the nation's budget. That's what we're talking about. And that is money that is in the hands of people that we cannot account for, cannot have access to. We cannot have access to such money because we don't have a functional system. Our systems are defined by those who are occupying it and not by the ethics of the offices. Every office has their ethics. But unfortunately in Nigeria, whenever anybody gets into the office, the person redefines the ethics of the office. You now see a situation whereby an EFCC, for instance, is only focusing on arresting and probing opposition political party members, where EFCC, because the chairman is a Muslim, is now focusing on arresting and probing pastors who have big mansions and what have you, whereas Islamic clerics who have big mansions are left unchecked, whereas members of the ruling political party are left unchecked. So the situation is that for AMCON to be able to get these monies out, the lawmaker should put a legal framework that will aid the AMCON officials to be able to go after this. And then when you are giving out loan subsequently, loan should be given to verifiable individuals who have something they want to do with loan. if we're going to give Atlantic Television a loan, we should be able to come to Atlantic Television Company to see a generator, to see the cameras, to see the teleprompter, to see all the things that are needed for a smooth broadcasting activity. So such that when we now give a loan, that loan will not be probably to hire more competent hands, so as you can, as you increase your viewership, you increase your revenue, and are you able to pay back your loan. But the situation whereby loans are taken from government agencies, and they are used for political campaign, they are used for birthday parties, they are used for child education, they are used for burial, then this 5 trillion we're talking about is bound to even get worse.
Okay. Dr. Ibiene, do you think that I do understand that standard practice will involve people that came to collect this, to borrow these funds, or people that are owing these funds do have collaterals that have been tied to it? Is it not due for the government to liquidate the collateral if it is going to be very difficult for us to receive the whole 5 trillion naira? At least liquidate the collateral and enrich our commonwealth for the projects that we have to be able to impact on the generality of our populace, or any other methods or any other steps you think that can be taken for us not to lose in total of the 5 trillion naira owed to AMCON. What do you say?
Well, normally it is not every loan that collateral is being attached to. You know, in fact, the government of the day has even some commodities tax, they've made it tax-free, you know. So one should be able to know the true picture by which the debts came. Are we together? If now you say these persons are owing, how come they are owing? What is the transaction? What happened? Why were this money doled to those magnitude? If they had things they mortgaged or engaged, that's what I'm saying, that the body is just there. They shouldn't have allowed such news or information, or even allowing maybe members of the House of Assembly to be looking or paving way for them. But they should rather, like I said, the country is not, there are a lot of laws that is guiding activities of both individuals and organizations. If a certain transaction is to be done, I think there are policies. But now we cannot sit down here, I cannot sit down here and begin to say, they did this, they did that. It will just be speculation, and I don't like to be part of such. Okay. I want to be certain that this is the transaction. And then if in terms of running an analysis, or maybe diagnosing what should be done, you're looking at what your samples are, and then you could be able to provide those solutions. To this end, I would want to say that the body, AMCON, should sit up and then try to make their records glaring. Because if you're dealing with people, transparency is a key word. It builds the confidence of the people. Even those that wants to invest, they will want to see how things are being done. If somebody is investing in the country and the person is hearing that up to 5 trillion is being indebted, the person would want to think otherwise. So I think that leadership first should be looked at and restructured. Okay. And then the way and manner, for whatever reason they are giving out or they are conducting their transactions, it should be obvious. If maybe they don't have things they are using to maybe as collateral or anything, because I don't think that someone would, you cannot owe the bank, for instance, to this extent, and the time has passed. You won't be talking of how to, they already know what to do. And I know of properties and all that are being confiscated and all of those things. So I think that first, the purpose or how the transaction went for such magnitude of finance to be indebted should be obvious. Because it's not good to keep Nigerians in the dark. It's not good. It's a very bad thing. And I think that is why you're seeing protests coming up and people planning and all of those things. Because they are not aware. You just hit them by surprise. You stay at a certain corner and you just push the dice and it bounces back at them. And sometimes they will be able to absorb it. Sometimes they cannot. So the reactions of things like that I think the government should be very sensitive, knowing that this period in the life of Nigerians is a volatile time. The rates at which things are going, there should be drastic steps towards curtailing the way and manner things are done. It is, I don't also want to believe that anything Nigeria is not just politics. The essence people go to do politics, I think, is to better the life of people. You're not going there to do otherwise. If you're doing otherwise, I don't think it's politics. If you stay in an office and then you're engaged in all forms of criminality, people, that's a position of trust. For whether you say you vote or you didn't vote, the fact is that people voted.
Yeah.
And majority of the people that voted has amounted you to be in that office. That means automatically you're there for the people. So the decisions, policies, or whatever you want to do, you should ensure that it is something that is basically favorable to Nigerians. Okay, and I think if this is put into consideration, we'll be good for it.
Oh. Well thought out, sir. Well thought out.